To Pittsburgh we go. Big news yesterday. Justin Fields took the first team reps with the offense after Russell Wilson told Coach Mike Tomlin he was dealing with calf tightness. Here was Tomlin explaining that decision to hold Wilson out of practice.
Starts aren't always ideal, but that's like life, man. Russ woke up today, man, his calf was tight. It was my decision to sit him down today, create a little short-term discomfort for him, not allowing a small problem to become a bigger problem. He can be characterized as day-to-day.
Well, how did he kind of take the decision? Did he want to get out here and play? Did he feel like he could?
He wanted to, and he was probably capable, but I'm getting to know him, and I just chose to create a little misery for him and the offensive unit.
Okay, so the words, always fascinating. Dan Graziano, as luck would have it, your training camp tour had you there for this yesterday. What can you tell us?
Well, I'm concerned because I went to Ravens camp and Lamar Jackson didn't practice, and then I went to Steelers and Russell. So I think these teams are going to stop letting me come to their camps if this continues. So we'll see how Deshaun Watson does today. But look, Russell was out there, okay? So he was walking around. He did some light throwing after the practice. If he had a severe calf injury, my sense of it is he probably wouldn't have been on his feet for the 2-hour practice. So I think we can probably believe Tomlin when he says it's not too serious, but it was serious enough that he didn't practice. If they're trying to back him off and give him some rest practice time, it wouldn't have been on the first day of training camp practice. So there's something there. We'll see what happens today out there. But in the meantime, Justin Fields, it's an opportunity. He enters camp behind in this competition and has to catch up with Russell Wilson based on what's happened in the offseason. Yesterday, the entire first-team offense got to operate with Justin Fields at quarterback and start to get a sense of what that's like. That's an opportunity for him. When we talked to him after the practice, that's what he said. He was excited about it. And if it continues, if Russell has to miss more days, that's just more opportunity for Fields to show what he can do.
So, Tim Hasselbeck, just the other day, you were on here, you were telling me that the way training camp and preseason are structured now, that it is just unlikely Justin Fields will get enough opportunity to prove that he deserves to be the starting quarterback. And then, boom, just like this happened. So what does it mean?
Well, I think it does this. I think it shows us the brilliance of Mike Tomlin. Because what I said the other day, Greeny, is absolutely true. You get a healthy, Russell Wilson and a healthy Justin Fields. Fields just isn't going to get the work. All of a sudden, calf's a little tight. Hey, man, this isn't my idea. If you're Mike Tomlin, it's kind of Russell Wilson's idea. He showed up in the training room with a tight calf. He says, okay, a little bit of misery, a little bit of discomfort for you, Russell Wilson. And now it's also an opportunity for Justin Fields. And now the rep breakdown changes from what we were talking about and what we were expecting. And it was because as soon as Mike Tomlin had the opportunity, he made it happen. That is the brilliance of Mike Tomlin in terms of how you handle situations like this and how it ultimately makes your football team better.
What do you think?
Now, listen, people see the smiling faces and teammates and, the love that they show and the compliments that they throw at each other. But please do not forget that this is a grown man's business. You got people with mortgages, kids to take care of, family members that depend on them. And it's a vicious game. It's kill or be killed. And don't ever think that competitive nature doesn't underlie. I can remember my first year, my first drill, I feel like I broke my clavicle, and I probably did. But I knew I was an undrafted free agent, and I had no way possible that I can afford to miss any practice because I had one foot out the door and the other one on a banana peel. And right now, Russell Wilson's career and place in this league is on life support. He's fighting for his career. But, him even mentioning that lets me know that he thinks that he's secure. Why Lamar Jackson didn't show up? Because Lamar Jackson isn't being challenged. Lamar Jackson isn't in a new place. And if I'm Justin Fields, I'm saying this is my opportunity. And he'll never get this spot back because I'm going to get chemistry. And when you talk about older quarterbacks, we got the 30, Tim knows, you got the 30 and over club. Guys don't bounce back like they used to. Camp isn't as tough as it used to be. But you talk about Russell Wilson, calves don't just get better easily, right? So you have that can grow to other things. compensation now that his other hamstring is hurting. This is an opportunity for Justin Fields. If I'm part of his team, I'm saying go take the job. This is your opportunity to be a starter, be on a good team, a great situation for you, and this can be your future. And what better organization to get that start than the Pittsburgh Steelers with a proud tradition?
It happened as quickly as this. We'll see whether it turns out to mean something. Much more football. Bottom of the hour, back on Get Up. Pittsburgh is our next stop. Justin Fields took the first team reps yesterday with the Steelers offense after Russell Wilson told coach Mike Tomlin he was dealing with calf tightness. Here was the coach explaining the decision and how it all went.
Starts aren't always ideal, but that's like life, man. Russ woke up today, man, his calf was tight. It was my decision to sit him down today, create a little short-term discomfort for him, not allowing a small problem to become a bigger problem. He can be characterized as day-to-day.
Well, how did he kind of take the decision? Did he want to get out here and play? Did he feel like he could?
He wanted to, and he was probably capable, but I'm getting to know him, and I just chose to create a little misery for him and the offensive unit.
This is just fascinating. I want everyone to understand exactly. Tim Hasselbeck was just on the show, Timmy, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and you were making the point that because of the way training camp is now structured and the entire preseason is now structured, it is very difficult for any quarterback to take a job away from a person who is in front because they just get so little work and so little opportunity. And then boom, just like that, Russell Wilson wakes up with a tight calf, and there's Justin Fields on the field. What did that mean yesterday, Tim?
Well, you're right. I mean, the reality is there are no real competitions because you don't split the reps 50-50. So the presumed starter gets the vast majority of the reps. That was the full expectation for Russell Wilson, who was kind of in the lead position to be the starting quarterback. And now with this development, I think you see the brilliance of Mike Tomlin to say, oh, tight calf, great opportunity for me to now create a competition, to have it actually be, no, you're not going to get the reps, and we're going to get a really long look at Justin Fields. And I think some of the indications were that Justin Fields did a nice job with those reps. And so, look, that's Mike Tomlin seeing an opportunity and then taking advantage of it to make his team better.
I want to make it clear, because when we talked about this earlier this morning, you made a point about Russell Wilson waking up and telling them that he had this calf tightness, right? I mean, this wasn't diagnosed. He went in there and said this. What does that mean?
I mean, I think he feels like he's secure, that he's going to get, he's going to get all the opportunities in the world. But I don't think he realizes what he faces. He faces an opportunity maybe to be surpassed by Justin Fields. I can remember when Troy Smith was supposed to be the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. He got sick. Joe Flacco took over the third playoff game. We never heard from Troy Smith ever again. And those are the reality, because this isn't a team like the Baltimore Ravens that Lamar Jackson can miss the first day of practice because he's been there, he's cemented. Like, these are two new quarterbacks in two new places, trying to get new reps and chemistry with new players. And I think ultimately Justin Fields gives them the greater chance to have a higher ceiling. And, I think, if I'm a Pittsburgh exec, I would want Justin Fields to eventually win this job and earn this job, because that gives you a longer future, because you're hoping that, you can make up for the mistake for taking Pickett. And if you can say, hey, listen, I know that we messed up on Pickett, much like, Trey Lance was a mistake, but they found Brock Purdy. This is be like, hey, I know we messed up by taking him in the first round, but we found a young quarterback that can be our future quarterback for the next 10 years. So all sins are forgiven.
Yeah, and they essentially got him, not essentially, they got him for a 6th round pick. Dan Graziano, you were there at camp while all this was happening yesterday. Take us there.
Yeah, Russell Wilson was out on the field during practice. He had a baseball cap and sneakers on, and he didn't really do any throwing until after it was over. He did a little light throwing on the side. So Mike Tomlin's saying it doesn't sound that serious. It feels like if it was, then maybe Russell wouldn't have been out there for a couple hours on his feet. So maybe we can take him at his word. But it was a chance for Justin Fields to play with the first-team offense, for the first-team offense to hear his voice and his cadence and have him lead them out of the huddle and all that. And that's invaluable for Justin Fields at this point, because we have been told that Russell Wilson has been the leader and that Fields would get a chance to show what he can do. But to Hasselbeck's point, like, that, what form does that take? And I think, the idea that he got first-team reps in the first practice is something that, a bonus that Justin Fields probably couldn't have imagined when he packed up and went to camp.
So, Tim, put a ribbon on this for us. How significant, how big a deal should I be making of this?
I think it's a huge deal because I think it could, dictate who the week 1 starter is. And I think it's why everyone has to look back and understand the risk that Russell Wilson took. There's no financial commitment from the Pittsburgh Steelers to even keep Russell Wilson. Like, Russell Wilson's getting paid all that money from Denver
correct.
no matter what. And so that's why, look, if it's not working with Russ, they could cut him. One of the reasons I didn't think that this would even happen, because I thought, why would Russell Wilson potentially put himself through that embarrassment? Russell Wilson gets shipped off to basically, another team, or, that he gets cut, he's getting paid anyway. And then all of a sudden, if you get cut by the Steelers because you're not going to be the starter, your career might be over at that point.
It's a fascinating set of circumstances, and it happened just like that. All you guys stay